Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is TGIM. Thank goodness it is Monday. There you go, there's Ferris. How are you? Crazy start of the week. It's just a crazy election. I've talked about it for weeks upon weeks. Told you it was going to be nuts after the election. It was going to be all kinds of crazy stories, all kinds of lawsuits. I told you it was going to be an attorney's smorgasbord. We find out totally now that Mr. Trump had 8,000 observers spread out in the combat, in what they call those states where they're swing states. He had 8,000 observers. They've been documenting everything that was going on right from like 8 o'clock in the morning of the last day of the election, and then the last 3 days after the election, where they loaded up votes and Mr. Trump had the victory and then lost the victory. So. The first lawsuit starts today, I believe it is, in Pennsylvania. And then from Pennsylvania, they go to Michigan. And from Michigan, I believe they're going to Nevada. And then I think it is in Arizona. They figured they'll have 4 lawsuits by the end of the week. It looks like the Republicans probably took the House, too. Looks like they're going to easily hold the Senate. And then Mr. Trump will be president again. And then the economy is going to see just an explosion of wealth and growth. So that's why it's all crazy, crazy. All right, at least in my mind. Now, anybody else can have their own opinion, and that's fine with me. I'm just following the math in the end result. But that's what I see. Let's see. So first says, caught dollar Canadian short. Let's see how far it can go. Let's check it out. And I see Daniel. Hello, Daniel. How you doing? Let's see. I got the Swiss up there. Notice the Swiss is trying to... his dollar is lifting up a little bit in here. Let's see. Let's just jump over to Canada. Right there. There we are. And where are we at with that? Okay, so we've been in a weekly sell for a couple of weeks. Where's our mark at? Put that in there. I guess it's right there. So we're 3 full weeks now in a weekly sell. We'll check the fact check spreadsheet in a few seconds here. Let's just make sure that's in there. There we go. And over on line 20, yes, 3 full weeks in a sell, as you can see on the share there, and the spreadsheet to the left, the fact check Excel sheet. So, and it's 5 days in a sell. So yeah, it's been pushing down, hasn't it? It's been feeling. I guess that's a bullish thing, right? And notice the Turkish Lira is doing the same thing, which is always interesting when they like to march together, which is really odd. But anyway, it is what it is. So you can see there, and then you can see a quick Turkish Lira. They've had some changes now, some resignations, son-in-law leaving, all kinds of fun things like that. And so you look at this. We may even go see a weekly sell after a week or so. Who knows? I mean, anything's possible. Let's just take a look at it, but you can see on the fact check sheet, where are we now? Line 17 there. So what we're looking at there is 49 weeks in a buy, 12 days in a buy. And obviously you can see there on our work, oh, you can't see that close. Let's move it over again here. You can see right there, it's moving down. Just the way Canadians, let's throw Canadian there because I just realized it wasn't showing because I had the Swiss up there, right there. Let's throw it up on Forex too. Canada. Oh, Canada. La 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 la. Yeah, look at that. So took that break here. Caught it nicely. The red candles started to go red, from the hinky ashy. That's pretty cool. Now Daniel says 37.2 to 40.2. Let's see. Oh, oil went up today almost 8%. Well, they think that an economy is going to get going. Look, Mr. Biden is not I don't even know why they even say it. You can't be president-elect until December 14th. So that's the strangest part of all with the media here in the States, is that there's no way in the world they can label him as the presumptive winner. That is usually the title they give, somebody that looks like they've won the election. They call them the presumptive winner, but not president-elect. Biden's not president-elect, and he won't, and more than likely he'll never be president-elect. And that's what the markets are seeing. And so, at least in my head, that's what I think they're seeing. And then the polls are showing that the two Georgia senators are going to really crush the opposition. So they're going to keep the Senate. And then the House of Representatives, which the Republicans were 18 down in, looks like it's maybe unchanged at this point. So in other words, the Republicans picked up 18 seats and lost none. And so, the media is hiding all this news, but trust me, money knows it. I know it. The money knows it. And that's what's going on there. So, all right. So let's take a look at oil for Daniel. Let's see what that looks like. And let's go check the fact check sheet. What is that? It came in a daily sell and a weekly sell. So our work is going, poor call. Okay, let's go take a look at it in reality, physical reality. Where are you? Right there. And as you can see there, on Friday they closed in a sell, and in the last, I guess, like 20-30 minutes, they've really popped it. And you can see we're back through the weekly buy number too at the same time. I mean, woo. I mean, they're lifting that thing. So that is fascinating. We were very close to going into a weekly buy on Friday. Very close. 1 out of 2 were plus. But now for sure it's already there. I mean, in other words, it has to play the whole week out to confirm it. But you can see the strength is there. The white line is above the 0 line right there. The daily is above it, and it's just doing the same thing as the stock market. I guess you've seen what the stock market's doing too, right? The Dow Jones, last I saw, was up 1,500 points. That just happened. There was 2 things that came out. One was obviously the lawsuit is starting, and they're going to have no problem winning that. And then the other big thing was, I think it was Pfizer came out with a 90% success rate on their cure for the COVID-19. So Trump's warp speed thing really has been a very big success. So let's see what we got here. S&P's up 3%. Yeah. I mean, it's rock and roll city. It's a boogie woogie woogie. Let's see if we can put something. Let's see what we got here. Let's go and take a look at the S&Ps right there. I think that's all-time highs, isn't it? Yeah, all-time highs. So we're at all-time highs in the S&P. We're at all-time highs in the Nas. No, the Nasdaq has fallen down now. So they're selling Nasdaq. Interesting. It was up there at one point at all-time highs. So they're selling Nasdaq, and it's actually down for the day. How about that? Let's reload that just to confirm. Yeah, look at that. So it's down on the day on Nasdaq, and let's just check out S&Ps. Let's reload that. And that's holding up. That's at all-time highs. And then I guess the Dow Jones Industrial Average could be at all-time highs. Let's take a look at that. Where is it at? It's all the way down here. Yep. Dow Jones Industrial Average also at all-time highs, I believe, right there. Yeah, look at that. Zoom, zoom, zoom. At one point, they had it. They gotta have it pretty jacked up. Did it challenge the 30,000? No, it's 29,800 on the futures contract. Trading at 29,006 at the moment. Let's see. Let's go take a look at that intraday. So you can see here, Nasdaq is down 136, which was last I looked about an hour ago. It was up like 100 and something. It was up 150. And let's fix this one here. What is that? Oh, you know what? They may be frozen. They may not be able to go any higher because the what do they call that? The circuit breakers are probably on when it comes to the Russell. And the S&P, I don't think the circuit breakers were met. Let me think. Percentage-wise, it's usually 15%. So 15% from 30. Where did it close at? It closed at 3,500 basically. So 15% would be much higher. So no, it's not even close. So, all right. Yeah, Turkish Lira. How about that? Let's throw that up there. And then we got the story too, if you want to see that. The son-in-law resigned, and they fired the head of the central bank, which I thought was the son-in-law doing both, but we'll just double check that. And let's see, where's it at? It's gonna get close. Let's see, right, where is it at? I had an article there, and we can put that up there, and you can take a look at it. I did bookmark it in case it got lost. I hate how sometimes I'm searching for things and I can't find them. Let's see. You know what? I think I'll just go find my bookmark. Oh, there it is. Okay, and at the same time, let's put that up on the screen. Sounds like the fishies are running away a little bit, huh? There's the Turkish Lira right there. And then let's put it over here. Like so. There we are. And let's bring that down, I guess. Yeah, bring it down. So there's the story right there. So we can highlight that. Oh, it's already there. So there's the story. Turkey in turmoil. Finance. I don't think it's too turmoil, is it really? I mean, the currency's doing pretty good today. Finance minister resigns days after central bank head fired. So that's the son-in-law right there of the president. And so he was Turkey. Let's see, what was it? He was. Let's see. Turkey is bracing for a full-blown financial and economic crisis after the country's Treasury and Finance Minister. Okay, he had both jobs. That's what I thought. Yeah, see, he had both positions. I thought he was treasurer of the government, and he was finance minister in the government, and he was head of the central bank and the sovereign fund too. And so I decided that he's leaving because of his health. And there's the story there on Zero Hedge. All right. So that's what that is. All right, now let's go. This is Daniel says 806. Let's see, where's it? Where's it trading now? 807. Okay, yeah, 805's bid. Not too wide, really, when you think about it. So that's not too bad. We've seen it crazier. Let's see, dollar CAD didn't fall a lot. Only, yeah. Well, I wouldn't expect it to fall a lot, but I would expect it to fall when the oil takes off like that. Let's see, dollar CAD. No, you don't need to look for anything for me. I looked myself. Oh, good. I'd only be curious about Bitcoin and S&P. Well, let's see what they're doing. And gold and silver. Now, we thought silver on Thursday. I guess it was Thursday. Silver went into a buy, right? So where's that at? There we go. There's silver. And that's not silver. That's the Dow Jones. There's silver right there. And you can see they're selling that off. And so on Friday, it went into the sell on Friday right there. Is that a sell? Yeah, so that's a sell. So it went into a sell on Friday when we thought it was going to go into a buy because it had gone into a buy. It was going to stay in a buy. And it went into a weekly buy on Friday at the same time. So now you can see the damage that's being done to that. Let's see, where else are we? On the NASDAQ, let's see, gold. Let's take a look at gold. Gold, same situation. Gold went into a buy, but didn't make it into the weekly buy. But look at that. This week, it's starting to try to lift into it. So we'll see what they do there. But that failed. That's still in a weekly sell. So I guess I'm not sure. I guess that's, I don't know what. Who knows what that really represents. But all I can tell you is that the lawsuits have started and they're going to be successful. That's the amazing thing, because they're not allegations, they're actual proof of crime. So that means some people are going to be doing the perk walk, as they call that. They're going to get arrested. As I take a bite of the apple. All right. Where do we go from here? I guess we could take a look at oil a little bit closer, but we really haven't done. Let's do the rest of the currencies. Unless somebody wants to see something, then we can go and look at it. Well, looks like they got a cure for COVID, which is what Trump has been saying. The lawsuits are going to stop Biden from winning the presidency. Republicans are going to have more control than they had before. So there's a lot of positive going on the economy. All right, let's take a look at the euro right there. It's still marching up, showing strength compared to, what was it, the Swiss was kind of heading down a little bit. You see the euro had been down some. So they're buying some euros here too at the same time. And let's see. Let's take a look at the cable right there. Same situation. I saw a headline there that said that all the doctors and scientists have come out and said that the government's overreacting. The pandemic is nowhere near as bad as it looks. Well, how many months have I been telling you that? That's going to come out after Trump wins the election. I said that. And the lawsuits are probably the beginning of him retaining his seat. So, one thing I can tell you for sure, 100%, Biden is not the president-elect. Okay? Why the media even would say that is ridiculous. Like I said, they could call him the presumptive winner. That's traditional in America, to call him the presumptive winner. But then no state has confirmed any of the elections yet. They're all 50 of them are just sitting still. So he can't be declared the president-elect until the states confirm it, not the media. All right, let's see, what's next? So to me, that's the strength in what I'm looking at. So there's the cable, and the cable's acting well. It's been in that buy, and we're starting to take out the 32 area. Let's take a look at, we saw Canada. Canada was moving down nicely, matching up with the Turkish Lira. Let's just take a look at Turkish Lira again, right there. Heading hard and fast down, 803 now. So just a slow and steady burn. Before you know it, this thing will be touching the top of the time manifold, and we'll see. Maybe we can go into a weekly buy after 50 weeks. Maybe it'll do it this week. Who knows? That'll be really neat. 50 weeks in a weekly buy. I'd like to see a weekly sell kick out somewhere where we can see it pull back a little bit. As you can see here in the Swiss is still rising up, which is a little surprising that the euro is still lifting, but that's okay. Just the way it rolls, supply and demand. Now, what else can we look at here? Let's take a look at the NASCAD, which we would think is up. So I'm going to push the button. Let's see. It's up a little bit. And it closed in the daily buy. You can see there 2 days back. And it's in a weekly buy for a few weeks. And when we go to the fact check spread, let's see, where's that at? Right there. When we go to the fact check spreadsheet, right there, which line is that? Is that 20 something? 20, where's that? 23, I guess it is, right there. You can see 2 full weeks in a buy, 2 days in a buy, and you can see it here. It's confirming. There's your 2 full weeks, and there's your 2 days, and this is the 3rd day now. This is trying to start off as the 3rd week. So a lot of that's going on there. Yeah, well, I think the real explosion came from the markets were moving up really well. There was a real squeeze going on. But then Pfizer came out with a cure for the coronavirus. So that just basically shuts down all the crazy. It's all over with. Trump had been saying that there was going to be a cure for it in a matter of weeks. He said that he was hoping that they would do it before the election, but it would have been drowned out. No one would believe it. Every time they come up with something, the media just closes it off. But at this point in time, the virus looks like they've conquered the virus. So good for them. Operation Warp Speed by Trumpy Trump. All right. Now, where do we go from here? That's the Turkish Lira. with a basically a 3 bid. And let's jump over to what is next. Let's see. I guess I can move that down. Let me do this. Move that down just a little bit, like that. There we are. So now we can get up there. Is that better? It's a little herky-jerky still. Let's see if we can bring this down just a little bit more. It's close. I gotta move it down one more time. Like that. There we are. Now we can make it, we can touch it. There we go. And so we've looked at, let's look at yen and see what the yen's doing. Whoa! Look at that yen. Now we've been in sells. Now, what was that? That should have been in a buy here, right? Yeah, there and there and there. And then it went into the sell there. And how do we have that up on the spreadsheet? That's line 17? No, that's Turkish Lira. Line 19. So we're in a weekly sell and a daily sell. That's what that is. Okay. And so it's been in a sell for like 3 days, 4 days? 4 days, it says on the check sheet. The fact check says 4 days. So everything is leaping and excited and happy. Look at that. Isn't that something? Anybody want to look at anything? Let me know. If not, we'll just go through the rhythm that we normally go through. Let's see. We've taken a look at NASCAD, so we now go basically from there. We usually kind of slide over to the oil. So we can go back to the oil real quick, unless someone wants to take a look at some other currency pair, and then we can go look at that, or some gold, or soybeans, or whatever. Matter of fact, why don't we take a look and see where the beans are? I haven't even looked. Let's see what they're doing with that. Since we're just roaming around and no one's really looking at any particular thing, we can look at that. Now there's the bond. That's the 10-year bond, so they're selling bonds off too. Where are we on the fact check on that? That is line 11? 11. So we're in a weekly sell, but a daily buy. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Right there. So it's a neutral position. There's wheat. Wheat seems to be trying to lift up, but it's got a red dot. Let's take a look at soybeans. Soybeans seem to be holding up pretty well. Is that that's the 9th there? So they're a little bit higher today than they were. Yeah, and we're in an $11 area, so that's pretty cool. We got a lot of beans around here still. So I'm really surprised that it's as good as they're doing. So I guess the Chinese are, who knows, maybe the Chinese realize that they have got to buy a lot of grains. You know, we know that they're having issues food-wise, but maybe they figure that they're going to keep on buying a lot of grains, and that's pushing the market up pretty aggressively. Let's see where corn is. Now corn looks like wheat. Let's reload that. Yeah, see it. It's in a daily sell for a day right there from Friday. Wrong spot there. Did it make it into the sell? It didn't, because look at plot 1. Plot 1 on that box there is a plus, so it didn't make it into the sell. So today it's trying to get into the sell right here, so we can go like that. Like that. There we go, like that. We can say some of this stuff too at the same time. Cornucopia. There we are. And then we got the soybeans right there. We can do the same thing with that. Let's save that first. Then we'll punch it out. Let's see. Well, actually, we don't really send out that bean anymore, so we'll just cancel that. We look at the Jan beans now. So let's go over to Jan beans and see what's going on there. Jan beans right there. See, that's not showing today's. That's what that's all about. Oh, I see something coming in through the Dukascopy. Let's see what's going on there. Let's see. Make sure I didn't do anything wrong. Let's see. Short copy. Okay. No, we're all good. All right. There we go. So, beans you can see in the November are moving up. So that's pretty cool. Showing strength there. Let's save that. And then what I'll do is I'll just take a look at a lot of these products that I use to send out. And when someone wants to see something else, we'll just jump over to that. And I'm just going to take a look at all the inventory. We'll take a look around and see, you know, like there's hogs. You can see hogs are, that's Friday. And they're in a buy still there. They're in a weekly sell, so it's a neutral position. Let's see if we can reload that. There we are. And Hogosauruses. There we are. I'm just waiting for anybody to come out and say, hey, I'd like to look at this, and we'll change our direction. Let's see. Let me just mark these down, too. Let's go with John there. So that's a circle. That's a Feb. And then the corn deck. And so, what else do we have here? Let's take a look at, why don't we take a look at oil for a little bit? Let's see, where's that at? Where are you, mouse? There you are. So as Daniel was saying there, oil is flying along like as if there's a bull market coming. A Trump bull market. There we are. Looking good. Let me get rid of that. Where's it at? Right there. Let's get rid of that. All right. So that's the oil looking incredibly happy. They think that the economy, the world economy, is going to take off, which is a good idea. I think the business of America is business. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The business of America is business. Now, let's take a look at the gold again, right there. And they're selling it down because I guess there's less concern. Which, oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't look at Bitcoin. Let's go over and take a look at Bitcoin and see what they're doing with the Bitcoin. That's right. I think Daniel said something about the Bitcoin. Let's check that out. Sometimes you just got to remind me. Push me. Say, yo, Doc, you're lost. Get a grip. All right. Bitcoin. Right. Where is it at? It's right around here. There it is. There's December Bitcoin. Let's reload it. There we go. And let's see, gold. There we go. And you can see Bitcoin has been in. Well, you go over on a spreadsheet. Just look at the spreadsheet over here too. Where's it at? Bitcoin is. Let's move that down. Where's it at? Right there. Bitcoin is 8 weeks in a buy, 21 days in a buy. So this thing has just been, we've been in a buy way back here. Let's see, where's it at? Right back in here we went to the buy off of this one right there, that buy. And every time it tried to get into a sell, it failed at it. So this was the green for this one right here. So it couldn't get into the sell. And then the next day, what was it? It was double dot, something like that. That dot didn't exist on the October contract, so we were still in a buy. We were green, and then you can see from here. Even if you're watching from here, you're looking from 1,300 and change to 1,600 basically. So either way, oh, here we go. well, Bitcoin is likely to go up. I would think so. Was it you who was saying 100,000 next year? Someone was saying that. Or was it Ferris maybe? Saying 100,000 for Bitcoin next year. I doubt that, but it wouldn't surprise me if we were trading at 25 or something like that. Through all-time highs, and then some. But I don't really see 100,000. That would be a really odd thing. 100,000 next year. Why would it go that high up? Is that did they stop producing? Is next year the year they stop producing? Or you just think there's going to be more participation, more funds get involved, or what's the logic behind the 100,000? We'll wait for Daniel to give us a good idea about that. Let's see. That. We'll save that. Looks like NZ. Looks like the NASDAQ has come back. So it's plus again now. Let's see. Where's that at? NQ. Let's take care of that. So the NASDAQ 100 or the Tech 100 in the Dukascopy is plus again. Let's just show you on. Let's show you. Where'd that mouse go? Let's grab that mouse and show you what it looks like on an intraday basis. So there it is there. Now it's plus 11. It was down 100 and something when we looked at it, 130. Now it's plus 11, 12, something like that. So they're starting to lift that up. This is frozen. Russell can't even move because it's going through its limits. And S&Ps are at all-time highs. So the pandemic is basically evaporating in front of our eyes, which is always nice, We always thought that it would evaporate after the election. Matter of fact, I saw someone say something like they've stopped reporting the corona over the last 4 days. So all of a sudden, our media has stopped reporting the coronavirus, which is really weird since they usually report it like 24/7 over and over and over again. And the Democrats ran a campaign claiming that it was Trump's fault. So, I mean, that was the campaign. The campaign basically said that's what Biden said all the time. You see, Daniel says, well, one thing is history repeating itself. What's repeating itself? The other is, yes, institutional piling in on Bitcoin. Well, I saw last quarter they bought a $500 million worth. How many billions of dollars outstanding, do you know? But most importantly is Ethereum launching its network, and that will lift Bitcoin up. Okay. So one's going to carry the other. Well, I guess once we get all-time high is almost 20,000. So I guess once we're only like 25% away from all-time highs. So once we get through that 25%, I guess that's where the squeeze will start to come in. Remember, the Bitcoin has options and futures. So people can hedge that and they can trade it a lot different than things that are, say, less liquid, less hedgeable. So that's you gotta, in some ways you gotta consider that. I will, I have a hard time believing that it's gonna explode that high up, but that's what makes a market, I mean, for every buyer there's a seller, and you need that. So I mean, if you think it could go to 100,000. That there's probably other players that are thinking the same thing, and then there's other players that are thinking that they can sell it down to 12,000 or 10,000 or 14,000 or keep it there or play it to all-time highs of a little under 20,000, that type of thing, That's the way I always look at everything. Okay, now what are we looking at here? We were looking at December hogs, that's right. Deck hogs. And there's December cattle. And it's flirting with the sell there. So there's not a lot of panic in the meats, but it seemed like it was all over in the grains, that's for sure. No, that makes sense to me. I see where you're going. You're thinking that the cattle and not cattle, one cryptocurrency is going to lift the other cryptocurrency, and then what'll happen is money will pour in. Well, like I said, we saw $500 million bought by institutions last quarter. It'll be nice to see what this quarter brings. You know, in other words, if they buy another $500 million, or if they buy how many are outstanding? Do you know that? I know there's a fixed amount, right? There's only a limit they're going to produce. So that'll put pressure on the upside. That's why I figured it'll go through the all-time highs. But for it to go five-fold, it's awful hard to believe, especially with options, you know? I mean, I would imagine a lot of the risk is washed away at this point. In other words, you can hedge it. As long as you can hedge it, then you can you can do different things. That's why the institutions are starting to come in and buy it, because they can hedge it. So what they can do is they can buy the Bitcoin, and then they can go and sell like the future against it, or they can go sell calls against it and buy puts. You know, they can do all kinds of things that will set them up into a position, and their investors won't be concerned. You know, they won't be like, oh my God, why you have us in something that's illiquid? Because it's not illiquid. You know, it's something liquid. So, to me, that would be the logic of it all. Let's see, which one is that? That's right there. So that's why I'm a little surprised that you're thinking that it can go that high. I would think you would be looking at like 25. Imagine if it doubled from all-time highs. You know, went to 40,000. I mean, I think that would be pretty aggressive. I would just think that higher up would bring in sellers. Like I said, when they have calls and puts and futures, they did that once they started the calls and puts on the futures. Remember, they drove Bitcoin down from 19,700 down to, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 again. So that makes it very challenging to get it rolling, you know. I guess that went into a buy on Friday. Remove. Put that there. There we are. But it's still in a weekly sell here on the feeders. That's the front month's feeders. Let's see, where is that at? Feeders, right up in here. Would anybody like to see any particular currency? I'd like to look at something else in the currency sector. I'm just waiting for somebody to say it. We can put ruble up there. Oh, here you go. Daniel says, when Bitcoin was $1,000 again in 2017, people were thinking 2,000 would be its ATH for the year. Instead, it was 19,000. Right, exactly. And then they created the futures contracts, right, which gave it, really, good reasons to be invested in it. And then, because you could hedge it. And so then, from there, then it fell to what? Where did it fall down to? 3,000, was it? 4,000 after they started the options? So that was a big freak out, But now it's, what, 15,000. So that's pretty good. It's come back from it. Let's see, right there. I wonder if let's put the Dukascopy chart up and see if we can spot the Bitcoin, since that seems to be the topic at the moment. We'll make that a weekly too. And we could spread it out a little bit, like so. So there's 2019, 2018. So they took it up to all-time highs in 2017, then drove it back down to, where is that? That's like a couple grand. Then they drove it back up to basically here. Now it seems to be breaking out again out of here. So this will be interesting to see. Well, cryptos, I like cryptos. So I have no problem agreeing with you that they're going up. I just don't, I can't imagine them going up fivefold. It would take a real world calamity to do something like that, you know? At least that's the way I would view it. In other words, it would, there would have to be some, well, remember what happened when the coronavirus came out in the beginning? It fell with the stock market down to, 5,000, which was really weird because I would have thought that it would have done the opposite. It should have taken off. So what's governing that at times is a little confusing, but that was curious. And as you can see on the Bitcoin there, it is trying to take out that, 2-year high. So that would be nice. This is shrinking supply could be, that's the thing I think is the real factor. That's what I really think. I think it's a shrinking supply, I think, that'll have more of an effect because they're going to stop manufacturing Bitcoins. And then, but remember, they've got calls and puts. So there's a lot of strategies that can be done when you have calls and puts and the hard cash, and the institutions can do this stuff. So I'm kind of more on the idea that if it took off and there was a short squeeze, I would think it would go to like 38, 39,000, something like that, almost 40,000. But for it to go to 100,000. I really have a hard time believing it would move like that. Let's put it this way. It goes to 100,000. Wow. What does that say about the cryptocurrencies overall, I mean, that'll drive buyers into that market dramatically. Let's see. The ATH for 2021 could be between 100,000 and 400,000 per Bitcoin. Now, what's ATH stand for? Yeah, ACH. What does that stand for? That is curious. That's for sure. They're big numbers. I mean, they're really like, not even like Apple at times have done stuff like that. Not even Amazon has done anything like that. I mean, Amazon doubles. We've seen Amazon triple over a couple-year period. So, I mean, tripling would be like, 45,000. But for it to go up, 7, 8-fold, that's enormous. All-time high. Oh, the all-time high for 2001 could be between 100 and 400. That's an awful wide market. 100,000 to 400,000? Is that a chart thing that Fibonacci? What drives that? I mean, in other words, how do you calculate something like that? Where would gold be with that? If Bitcoin's at 400,000, where is gold? 10,000? The stock, a Czech stock. What stock? Do they have stocks? The cryptos, are there stocks outstanding we can buy? You're doing like a linear approximation. They've gone this far. They're going to go further. Wow, that's pretty wild. The Google stock to flow model. Give me a Google one for the last 2 years. Since where's Google now? Like 3,700, right? So where could Google be at the same time? 10,000? 12,000? What's that look like? Do the same math on Google over the last year or 2 years. And let's see what that number looks like. That'd be interesting. Let's see. Right there. Serious warning issued over 300,000 for Amazon. Bitcoin stock to flow price model Forbes article. Oh, okay. They think it could go to 300,000 Forbes. Huh. Wow. That's still wild numbers. What does Amazon look like in the math you were doing? I would have to speculate that the Amazon's got to look like a $12,000 stock, right? If you're extrapolating how it's gone the last 2 years. I'd be curious to see. In other words, try to bring in the known products into the same type of calculation. Yeah, well, we'll see what you say, what numbers you come up with that one. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Bitcoin at 45 or 39,000. That would not surprise me over the next year. But 100,000, where do you think gold would be? Now, when you look at charts, I saw somebody post an interesting chart on gold. They were looking at the gold oil ratio over the last 150 years, which was really neat. And it's now really spiked, of course. Okay, here goes Daniel. Ferris says, all shorted U.S. Canadian today on breakdown, but I am worried it is over extended. Don't know how many pips I can ride this down. Let's take a look at it. Let's head over to there. Let's see what our work says. Let's see right there. All right. Let's see. We'll find it in a second. There we go. Let's go over to there. Let's go take a look at Canadian again. Where's my mouse at? Is this it right here? There it is, right there. And let's see right there. Wow. Look at, that's the yen. The yen is really taking off too. And there's Canadian. Still heading down. It's taking out this low here. That's interesting. You see the weekly is trying to turn up. The daily is just riding down. Both are in weekly and daily sell, so there's no problem there. I guess I could put a short-term chart up if you want to take a look at the short-term chart through my math. We can always do that. I don't expect stocks to go 3,000 or 3 times or more at the end of the year. I'm saying Bitcoin will likely perform the rest of outperform the rest of the stocks. That I agree with too. Like I said, I could see Bitcoin by the end of next year. I could easily see it, anywhere from 25,000 to 39,000. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But again, doesn't Bitcoin kind of reflect more of a bad economy or an uncertain economy? So stocks over 1 trillion market cap. Well, what's the market cap in Bitcoin right now? I'm going to go put an hourly chart up on an hourly and see what it looks like. There's crude oil. Let's take a look at crude oil's action in an hourly chart. Look at that. It jumped into a buy there, and did it do it there? No, that was in a minus. And it exploded up. Let's see what Canadian looks like in an hourly. Cash. USD. Right there. Let's see how it fills in. Let's see. Bitcoin, $282 billion market cap. Is that what it is right now? That's surprising. I would have thought it had been lower, just solely because of that group of funds that bought $500 million worth. With it at $282 billion worth of market cap right now, I would think that institutions would be buying more of it. Wait a minute. 10 trillion market cap as big as gold. Wait a minute. Okay, so right now Bitcoin is $282 billion of market cap. And I guess if it goes to 100,000, of course, then, it would be in the trillions. That's awful amazing, If they had $10 trillion worth, people could use that to compete with the central banks. That's the problem, is it's not liquid enough for major corporations to utilize it. It's too illiquid. That's why I have a hard time believing it's getting 100,000. Some people see it at 10 trillion market cap as big as gold. Is gold right now 10 trillion? That wouldn't surprise me. 10 trillion. You got to figure that gold has to represent, something in the world economy. So it's got to, if the United States has we're a $3 trillion economy. And is that what it is? I think we're a $3 trillion economy. Or no, are we $11 trillion? I guess we're like $11 or $12 trillion economy. That's what it is. So, and in Japan, or China is like a $4 or $5 or $6 trillion economy. And then Japan and Europe are in the low trillions. So I would imagine that would have some influence, Wow, okay. That's interesting. Well, it will be fascinating to see this next year. Like I said, it's going to be the whole election thing is going to be really wild. We are in uncertain times because there is nobody that's president-elect at the moment. And so once we get that all figured out, that'll be neat. Right now, it's just the ball's just out there floating around. All right, and then you can see. Let's go back to Bitcoin on here. Oh, and the hourly. You see let's take a look at the hourly. There's the hourly on Canadian. See that right there? And it's been falling down from here. I guess it is. So it fell. Let's see. And there's nothing nowhere. It's broken all lows. So Canadian doesn't have any real, there's nothing telling us where it's going to try. Well, there's 31.50. Right now we're at 29. So let's go look at it on J4X. See what they have for J4X on Canadian. But you can see Bitcoin, actually, it's trying to roll over a little bit. We'll see what that does. Nothing major there. And this is a weekly. So let's take a look at Canadian in a weekly to give us a broader view. Where can Canadian go? Let's see. As it loads, there we go. I guess it's going after these lows of 2019 going into 2018, right? Right here. So they're playing with that. And then I guess if they don't support that, then they'll break down into the, what is that, the 29 area, 29 and a quarter. I think that's the area there. And where's it at now? Oh, it's already there. It's already at the 29 and change, 29 and a half. Yeah, I'd say take some profits out of that. That's for sure. First, grab some money out of it. Hedge yourself. Keep the dough and, You see, Daniel says with $6.1 billion ounces of gold in the world with a price of $1,900 per ounce, it would put it at about $11.5 trillion. Okay, cool. I'm rounding numbers on you. So like 1,900 and 11.5 trillion fitting in that. That makes sense. So Bitcoin, if it gets the inventory, let's see, so 6.1 ounces. Could you consider, I guess you got to consider a Bitcoin, an ounce of gold. So in other words, it's at 15,000. Gold is at 1,900. So that's where you get the 282. No, I guess that would be more then, right? How many bitcoins are outstanding? Do you know the number of how many outstanding bitcoins? So if we look at the amount of outstanding bitcoins and then try to treat it like an ounce of gold, then we could extrapolate where it could possibly end up in the end. 18 million bitcoins. Okay. So max supply 21 million. Oh, that's a good thing. That'll drive it up. Like I said, I know they had a limit they were going to do. So they're not far off now, are they? 1.5, 2.5 million. Cool. That works. All right, so then where are they at then? I guess so you're multiplying 18.5 times 15,000, right? And that's where you're getting your cap. By 2040 or 41, there will be 21 million bitcoins. Is that slow moving? Yeah. That's pretty cool. So that's what I've heard and seen what the problem is about it being used as like an international translation, in other words, like an international currency for major corporations, is that they just don't have enough inventory of them. Which kind of makes it like really neat. It's like I always think of the cryptocurrencies as like a magical type of gold, doing its own thing. And you can see, obviously, gold is 19, and then vice versa. The other is at the other is at 15,000. So that's pretty cool altogether. I think today we'll label this webinar Turkish Lira and cryptos. How's that? Or vice versa. Bitcoin, something like that. Because that was a really good conversation about it. And we really did take it apart nicely. So we'll label this webinar Bitcoin. Let's see, go like that. Forex. Gold. There we go. That's our title today. Bitcoin, Forex, and gold. Trying to understand it all, Let's see. You can get market cap details from CoinGecko. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the way I would look at it. I'm going to play with the math after I get off the webinar. Maybe I can have better things to say about it tomorrow. In other words, try to extrapolate ideas, see if it justifies numbers, that type of thing. All right, this is Doc from North America Traders. We will catch you on Tuesday. It's been a fun-filled day, and it's going to be exciting. Like I told people for months now, it's going to be crazy after the election. It's just going to go crazy, 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 crazy for a while. The lawsuits, all of it. It's going to be wild. So this is Doc from North America. Everybody have a safe and a smart trading day. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all my trading friends.